Hi folks, welcome to my Retro Journal. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite authors, Tim Hartnell. I've mentioned him before in my channel. I couldn't find his actual date of birth, but he would have been 70 years old in 2021. And I wanted to celebrate him a bit, and I've been actually playing around with his chess program a lot that he wrote in this giant book of computer games. And it's interesting. First of all, so I have I re-implemented this chess program on the ZX81. And it was actually a bit of a challenge because he used very standard basic with if-thens, else's, as well as multiple statements on a line, as well as data statements, all things that the ZX81 actually doesn't have. And so this is my implementation of his chess program. Now, it's his engine, it's his logic that I didn't change. And if you actually read his book, he talks about how this is not really a very good chess program. It sort of fails on various levels. But he decided to publish it because back then there weren't that many chess programs out there that were easily readable, and that's probably still the case today, as he wrote this in BASIC. As far as how it plays, I will say that it's a good training program, I think. If you play it honestly, and by honestly, whatever the current position of the board is, if you play your moves in such a way that you defend your pieces and you don't sort of play against the known flaws of the AI, it actually works pretty well as a training program. And the reason I say this is once you sort of figure out the issues with the program, things, for instance, like if you take a pawn that's protected, say, by a bishop, you would think that with, say, your queen, the bishop would take your queen right away. In this case, if you play it enough, you realize that it doesn't always. It looks to trade pawns, but it doesn't always exchange pieces, even if its piece is less valuable than your piece. Also, if you put it into check, sometimes, even if it can move a piece in front of it, it actually will just quit. And sometimes it makes illegal moves, like when you put it into check, it'll move somewhere else where it's still in check, or it'll move a piece to put itself in check. So it has these flaws, and Tim Hartnell sort of explains that. It just kind of shows that the program isn't as strong as you are. That's how you should take it, which I thought was kind of interesting to put it that way. So anyway, I modified this a bit more from when I typed this in as a little kid. The original one, if you look at I actually used the same sort of idea with periods for the board, and I realized, well, I could actually make it look better by putting sort of the gray boxes there. So you can see that I have a board now where you can kind of see the pieces a little better. And it was a pretty easy fix to do. The other thing I added was the re-enter. The last thing that you can see there is there's a R for re-enter. So if you make the wrong move, you can actually just hit R, and then it'll just redraw the board without adding your move, and you can make a different move. So that's one of the things that I added. But what I want to do today is just test it to see. Even so, as I said, I don't think it has an end game at all. So I don't even know if you played it long enough if it actually would try to beat you. Now, I've played it a bunch, and it's sort of a good training tool because it adds confidence to your game, because it's not going to really play to win, but it does make life complicated for you. And again, if you play it honestly, where you're not trying to checkmate it in 3 or 4 moves, but sort of assume that it's going to always make the best move, even if it doesn't, it's a really nice training tool, and I've enjoyed playing now. And I'm not a strong chess player. I'm probably over 1,000, but I'm not. I think the science chess program that I did a video on the QL a while back is like 1,700, and I think I've beaten it a few times, but I struggle mostly. And so it's nice to play a chess program that's actually weaker, but still kind of puts up an okay fight, even though it sort of does illegal moves in the end. But what I want to do today is actually want to rate it. I want to see how good it actually is. So I have a Play Magnus chess program that I played against Science Chess actually has the different age ranges, and there's actually a chart that tells you what the different levels are. And so age 5 has an ELO rating of 200, which basically means it's making valid moves but randomly, so it has no strategy whatsoever. I'm not going to play that one. And if you look back on my other video, Science Chess actually beat that. But I think Magnus at 6 has an ELO rating of 400, which is kind of, other chess programs call that, it's child playing. So I'm going to try it at that, and then I'm going to keep moving up, not incrementally, but I'll try one that is 600, and I think I probably will end at that. If the gameplay at 400 just takes too long, I might quit and just call it a draw. If the Tim Hartnell's chess program makes an illegal move and the board is maybe even, and the opponent doesn't have an advantage, we might call it a draw. If the opponent has an advantage, we'll call it defeat for the chess program. Only because it's a bug, not a flaw in the algorithm, and I haven't tried to go through to figure out what the bug is. But yeah, so my mod of the chessboard actually makes it look a little bit 3D because it's kind of squashed, and I kind of look at it almost like the board is being pulled up like that. So it's kind of cool. So I'm going to move the camera in front and just play a game. And I'm going to get rid of the. So if I hit enter, you'll see that it blanks the screen because it's in fast mode. What I'll do to actually run the demo is I'm going to run the game is I'm going to get rid of the fast mode, because I can avoid the screen doing that kind of stuff. Plus, I can also fast forward it. So if the game takes a long time for me to film, you won't have to see it at all. And so you won't have to see all this, especially with this modern TV in fast mode. It really has to retune itself in. You can see that you're constantly getting this kind of stuff, which is unpleasant to watch. So I'm going to get rid of the fast mode and just rely on me being able to fast forward on that. And then, yeah, I'm going to play. And all that, and all it did is move its king pawn 1 down to protect it. So again, it plays pretty conservative. This is actually not a bad line to play. So yeah, it's, as I said, it's a good training program. I've played it a bunch. And it really gives you confidence. So if you want to use it, you say you have a child who wants to get into chess, you can actually play this online. I'll put it in my, I have a web page where this is being run on my ZX simulator, and you can run the chess program. And it plays pretty well. It plays pretty quickly. So I will I'll put a link so you can play it and have, maybe if you have a kid that wants to get into chess, have it play it and see how it likes it. But today I'm going to try to figure out what its ELO rating is approximately by playing it against a 400 and 600 level opponent. So and I'll move the camera right in front. So let's do that. So I have it set up. I got rid of some of the fast statements, but not the one for printing the screen because it takes a long time. Even if I'm going to fast forward through it, I think the game will take forever. So I've got that still, so you'll still see the flash. I did clean up the picture, so it's much better looking than it was before. In terms of the signal. So I have Magnus at age 6, which is a 400 level ELO, and I'm going to play Tim Hartnell's chess against it. So starting with, let's see what it gives. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast forward through there, so you don't have to sit there and watch me, because it's pretty slow otherwise. And that is an illegal move because it put itself in check. But as you can see, the played Magnus at 6 has been sort of dominating the game, Tim Hartnell's chess game. There was actually a move that could have happened earlier. So before White moved his bishop from here to here, had this bishop moved from here all the way here, it could have then grabbed the bishop and checked it. So the end game for play Magnus at 6 isn't that great either. But yeah, so we're going to call this a win, not a draw, because if you look at the pieces that are left, 2 bishops and 2 knights versus 2 rooks, 2 bishops, a queen and a knight. We've lost a rook, and we're down a rook and a queen. We have 6 pawns versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns. So black is definitely ahead on many pieces, and I don't think White has a chance. Yeah, Tim Hartnell's chess is not as good as the played Magnus at 6, but it was, it was interesting for a while, so it was kind of fun to see that. Anyway, I'm not going to play it at play Magnus at 7 at 600 ELO. So it's under, it's more than random, but it's not 400. So we'll have to say maybe 300 ELO, which is pretty bad. So yeah, not a very good game on the Tim Hartnell's chess part. Played pretty badly against the play Magnus at 6, which supposedly is a 400. I'll do more testing on play Magnus at 6 and play it against some online chess programs that also have different ratings to make sure that it is 400. And I'll put it in the comments. I will say it's still entertaining to watch. Certainly the end game for play Magnus at 6 wasn't great. It had a few opportunities to, as I said, it had a few opportunities to catch some, put Tim Hartnell's chess game into check. But yeah, I think end games are difficult to explore. So anyway, I'm going to end here today. It was kind of fun to do this, and again, you can play this online. I already gave the link earlier, and it'll also be in the description. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you soon.